Rest and digest. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Who is excited to be rested? Sweet souls. Oh, I'm so very, very grateful to be sharing this space with you. As you're hopping on, if you are live, please say hi. Please share that you are here. If you are catching the replay, please say hi and share that you are here. I'd love to see you. Katie's here. I'm so grateful you were able to make it on short notice. This is so wonderful. Oh, I am so excited to be in this space. How are we feeling? How's the day today? How is your day today? Please do share what you're coming to the space with. It could be an emoji, one word, multiple sentences. Would just love to feel you in the space. Thank you for being here, live or replay. Michelle is here, yay! Yay, Michelle, thank you so much for being here, so beautiful. Yes, Katie, your nap, fabulous, rock on, I'm so happy for you on that. Kim is here. Oh, today was a good day for Michelle. So wonderful. It's so beautiful to have you all here. Thank you so much for sharing this space and for making it on short notice. This is just so lovely. I wanted to open up this space so that we can be in our sacred space as we move into our first task. Karen is here. Oh, it's so beautiful to have you here. Shalou is here. Hello. Oh, beautiful souls. It's so wonderful to have you here. Thank you for being in this space. I don't know how long we're going to be because we'll see if there's any interaction and we'll just see how long it takes. So if you need to hop out, not to worry. Just come back and catch it when you can. This live is essentially, we're going to open the sacred space. I'm going to share a little bit about myself, the assumptions that I bring to this container, the agreements that we make with each other to maintain the sacredness of this space, talk a little bit about this program and talk about the prize, and also to set task 1. So we've got a few things to cover. So I invite you just to settle in, just to find a space to be as comfortable as you can be in this moment. You may choose to lie down, you may choose to be seated. Essentially, in opening sacred space, we are inviting in energies, guides, archetypes to hold us in this vibration of healing and learning. And so I invite you just to get comfortable. Maybe that means, you have some tea or some cacao or some essential oils. Right now I'm working with lavender and peppermint. It's my favorite blend right now. I'm just all about it. So that's what I'm working with. If you work with essential oils, welcoming that energy into the space. If you've got a blanket, anything to make you comfortable. Just welcome you into this space. Yes, Kim, that's perfect. It will be here when you're ready. And so as you're getting comfortable, I just invite you to, if it feels good for you today, to just close down your eyes. And then just start to notice your breath. And there's no need to change it. And just notice its natural rhythm in this moment. Whether it be a deep breath today or shallow, perhaps it lands in your belly or maybe in your high heart. Just noticing where it lands in this moment. Bringing your awareness to your physical body and just noticing what's present. Perhaps sensations, tingles or soreness, whatever's present, just noticing. As we start to land into the present moment. Bringing your awareness to your emotional body now. Noticing what's present in your emotions, the ebbs and flows, and the ocean within you. Just noticing. And coming to land in your heart space. It may be helpful to even put a hand on your heart, if that feels good for you. And just breathing into your heart space, noticing what's present here in this moment. And it's from this heart-centered awareness that we welcome in any guides, any archetypes, any friendly ancestors, any energies that would support you in this healing journey that you have said yes to, that you get to embark on. And taking a moment to welcome them into your space. And holding them in your heart as we open the circle. To the winds of the south, Amaru, great creator, serpent, Sachamama, mother of the waters, we call to you in this sacred space. We ask you to wrap your luminous, healing coils of light around this beautiful container as we embark to let go of all that stands in the way of us embracing rest. You who sheds your skin with such ease and grace, may we too shed what does not serve. May we too shed what does not serve our highest self. We seek healing in this space, and we ask that you help us to go with the flow, that we may take a path of less resistance. You who sheds even the skin over your eyes, may we too see with a different vision in this space. A new perspective, may we move through this space with a beginner's mind. Please remind us as we embark on this journey that when we do this work, it is an act of courage and of strength. That letting go is courageous. We honor you. We thank you for holding the southern corner of our circle. To the winds of the west, Atarango, mother, sister, jaguar, you who walks the rainbow bridge, come and walk this sacred circle. Come walk this sacred container as we move to delve into the shadowy realms. We seek to track out those pieces that do not serve us, the hucha, those hungry ghosts that sit at our table and feed, and we ask you to help us to find them. Please help us to find these pieces that do not serve. Sweet Mother Durga and Kali, these fierce and fearless women warriors, we call to you to wield your sword of discernment in this space. Please help us to cut through the veils of ignorance. Cut through this conditioning, cut through these pieces that stand in the way of us being able to stand in our true radiance, a radiance that requires rest, that requires replenishment. We call to you, please, to hold us in this sacred space. We honor you. We thank you. To the winds of the north, sun, royal hummingbird, sweet one, oh sweet one, we call to you. Please come and hold this medicine space for us. You who drinks from the nectar of life, please remind us that joy and fun are ways of healing. Remind us to smile in this space. It doesn't always have to be heavy. It can be light and joyful and playful and bubbly and fun, and we call that into this space. As we embrace stillness, as we embrace silence, we call to you, sweet one. And to the ancestors, those of our blood lineage, please come warm your hands by our fires as we listen to the whispers of your wisdom. To the ancestors of the land on which we sit, we call to you. Thank you, earth keepers, for being a voice for Pachamama, for being a voice for this earth. We call to you, we honor you, and we welcome you into this space. Please warm your hands by our fires and whisper your wisdoms to us. To the medicine mountains of Peru and of the Pacific Northwest, please shelter us. Come and hold this medicine space with your deep and ancient wisdom, your steadfastness, your stillness, your silence. And in such energy you stand. We honor you. We thank you for holding this medicine space. To the winds of the east, place of the rising sun, great condor, apichin, great eagle, these great winged birds of light, we call to you, please come and soar over this medicine space. We call to you, these great winged birds of light, to help us to fly wing to wing with great spirit. May we see ourselves with the eyes of our hearts in this space always. We forget this way of vision. We forget this perspective so often, and we call to you, please help us to see this perspective in this space. And that we are whole and complete and absolutely enough. That we are whole and complete and worthy of rest. That we are worthy of relaxation, of replenishment, of nourishment. Please remind us to see ourselves in this light and to hear our heart, to hear our highest self. We honor you. We thank you for holding this sacred space. Hope. And to Pachamama, sweet Mama Earth, oh sweet Mama, we call to you. We thank you so much for holding us so gently, so tenderly in your arms. You who are the true and deep abundance that we call in, you are that. You who are the unconditional love that we call in, you are that. Please know, sweet Mother, that we do this work for you and for all of your creatures, that we may come into right relationship with you, because we understand that we are one. When we move to heal ourselves, we move to heal you. We honor you. We thank you so much. And please support us in this space. Help us to walk more softly on your belly. We honor you. We thank you for holding this space for us, and we love you. Hope. To Great Spirit, you who has so many names, yet remains nameless, we call to you. We thank you so much for creating this opportunity to gather. To Inti Tai Tai, Grandfather Sun, Mama Kia, Grandmother Moon, your phases are an inspiration to us that we may live a cyclical way of being, that we may value rest as much as we value action. As you do the same amount, we call in that balance in this space. To the earth keepers, the light workers, all those who have paved the way that we may walk this path now, we call you in. Please hold this space for us. To the star nations, the galaxies, the planets, this universe that surrounds us, we are in awe of this creation. We thank you for the opportunity to be here. We thank you for this gift, this tapestry of beautiful beings that you have woven together that we may be here now. It is an honor and a deep, deep privilege to share space with these incredible beings. And we thank you so much for creating it. We thank you. We honor you. Hope. Deepening the breath in through the nose. Releasing with a sigh through the mouth. Two more like that. And if your eyes are closed, very gently opening them. Landing back in your location. Noticing colors and shapes as we just settle in as circle is open. As you come back, please type in the comments how you're feeling. Anything that's present for you as we have opened our sacred space. Please do let me know. I would love to hear how you're feeling in this moment. And I'll just let you type, and I'd love to hear as it comes in, so please do share. And I'd like to share a little bit about who I am, because a lot of you I haven't had the pleasure yet of walking with. And so I'm really, really excited to share space with you. Yes, Katie. Oh, that beautiful hummingbird medicine. Yes, we get to have fun. We get to be light with it. Yes, and with water, that beautiful water element taking the path of least resistance. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm so grateful that you're feeling calm and peaceful. Me too. Oh, yes, Shalou, this beautiful connection to Mama Earth. It's incredible that we get to do that work for us, and in turn we do it for her as well. Oh, that's so amazing about your connection with Hummingbird, Katie. That's awesome. Fawn. Oh, yes, I hear you. Oh, you're feeling a tad sick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Rest will be important. Rest will be important. So I'd love to share, please keep it coming in. I really do want to see and hear you. So a little bit about me. My name is Tara. I am the founder of From the Hearth, and I call myself an embodied lifestyle guide. And I come to you tonight on a certain piece of land that I would like to acknowledge. And when you see me looking over, I've got notes, just so you know, so I get this right and I don't miss anything that I don't want to. So on the land that I currently sit, I am an uninvited guest. I am on unceded traditional and ancestral lands of the Semiahmoo, the Tsawwassen, the Stalo, and the Wasanich First Nations. And I guide those pursuing liberation. I guide those who are dissatisfied with fluffy work, who are tired of spiritual bypassing, and who seek the fires of transformation. And so I have found the foundation of what I do, it comes from two main sources. The first is my own embodied lived experience. By far, what I do is rooted in that. So a little bit about my story. I lived a fairly uneventful life for the first 20 years of my life. I have lived a very privileged life, which I'll share with you in a moment. I experienced acute trauma in my early 20s, and I had no idea how to deal with that in my body. I didn't understand what I was feeling. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to release it. And it was just, yeah, it was just that. And essentially I suppressed it because I didn't know what to do with it. And so I suppressed it and I reached for everything external to me for support, for comfort, for numbing. And for me, that meant, my main vice was alcohol. And it quickly evolved into a dependency. And it took a long time for me to realize that there was no other way to go but on a healing journey, because it got to the point where there was no other choice. And so I chose this path. And it has been a very triggering, very uncomfortable, very rewarding path. And I wouldn't have it any other way. And so I'm so grateful to be able to do this work and to be able to share my path with you. And that's where the vast majority of my experience comes from. The other kind of piece where my experience comes from is the more formal training that I've done since I've entered onto this path. And the most formal training of which has been my yoga teacher training. Now, I personally don't really prefer that term. That's why I use the word embodied lifestyle guide. I use that title because I feel like it's more appropriate. Yoga is a lifestyle. The way that I live it, it's a lifestyle, and one can't really teach a lifestyle. It's more of a guided experience. So the training that I underwent was rooted in the Orthodox Hindu traditional school of yoga. And it also weaved into it initiations around Andean healing tradition. So there's a few intersections in that training that have been just very rich and vast, and just such a gift to be a part of. And then currently I'm pursuing unlearning around white privilege, around around white privilege. That's pretty much it. And all that comes from that. It has been, again, a triggering, uncomfortable, and extremely rewarding learning or unlearning. And it has really brought to light how unwell I am in this toxic dominant culture. And so I also do weave that into the offerings, which I'll be sharing with you. So I'm going to check in because I've seen a few things coming up here. Oh yes, the wee ones. Yes, beautiful. So please do share comments or thoughts as they come up. I will check in. So I'll start by just kind of locating myself socially. And Elena, hello, it's beautiful to have you here. Oh, thank you so much for sharing this space. I was just in the middle of sharing a wee bit about myself. So I'll start by, or I'll continue by socially locating myself. And social location is an intersectional tool. Essentially, it shares with you factors about me. So race, gender, gender expression, social class, age, ability level, sexual orientation, geographic location. And you may be wondering why would I share such things? And the reason why I do, and the reason why I feel it's extremely important, is because these identities that I hold at this particular intersection dictate how I move through the world. And it provides insight into how I hold and navigate space. And sharing my social location, I do so in order to attempt to reduce harm, because I understand that at my intersection of identities, especially with the amount of privilege that I hold, it can cause harm to be leading space. And so my hope is that in sharing this now, at the outset, that I can reduce any amount of harm that I might cause being somebody who's holding and facilitating this space. So, this, by the way, is inspired by Michelle C. Johnson. She does dismantling racism work, also inspired by Tristan Katz. They are an amazing soul who is just super inspiring in the business realm. So I'll just jump in. So these are my intersections. So I'm a young, slender, white, heterosexual passing, able-bodied, neurotypical, Canadian, cis, female. And so I hold a lot of privilege in our toxic dominant culture based on these different identities. And so I share this because I want you to know where I'm coming from, like I say. And so with that being said, I'd like to share the assumptions that I bring to this container. And these assumptions and then the following agreements, I share these in an aim to create culture in this space, because we are holding each other. We're holding each other as we maybe step into some spaces of vulnerability, as we step into discomfort. So I would like to share some pieces around that to just create a bit of context. So the assumptions that I share, just coming now, you don't have to agree with them. I just share them so that, again, you have context for where I'm coming from. I really want to be super transparent, upfront, and open so that you understand when I'm sharing things, this is the lens through which I share them. So the first assumption is that I'm not a healer. I don't call myself a healer. That's not something that I hold. I personally believe that we are all our own healers, right? Only we can do that work. Only we can release, only we can integrate. So that's why I call myself a guide. So that's the first assumption. The second is that I come into this space with the belief that there's a creative force in this universe. A power greater than ourselves, a power at work. It can have any name. You know, when we just cast our circle here, we said, Great Spirit, you have so many names yet remains nameless. All names are welcome in this space. And that is an assumption that I bring into this container. Another assumption is that there's no neutral. We live in a toxic culture, and it's a culture that I name as a white supremacist culture. And the reason why I'm really emphasizing this is because it's our toxic dominant culture that emphasizes the grind culture. It emphasizes quantity over quality. It essentially devalues rest. And It's uncomfortable to talk about. And the thing is, and we're going to get to this, but the thing is, growth doesn't lie in comfort. We have to name these things, and this is my assumption, this is my belief. We have to name these things so that we can work to dismantle them. Because our toxic dominant culture stands in the way of our wellness. And it's really, really key to name these things. So I've got to do it. Our dominant culture emphasizes perfectionism. It emphasizes urgency, defensiveness. We may be even feeling defensive in this moment as we listen to these things, if you're one who might be unlearning right now. It emphasizes progress means bigger, it means more, it means it's really visible, and it means that we get external validation. If there's no external validation, is it even progress? This is the kind of thing that our culture emphasizes, and it stands in the way of our wellness. And we're going to dive into this a wee bit more, but it stands in the way of us valuing rest. And this causes trauma. And it emphasizes and perpetuates trauma. And trauma is the antithesis of love, and it's what we work to dismantle in this space. Love is radical self-care plus collective self-care. And that's what I believe. I believe that we are interconnected and our well-being is bound. Just like when we set our circle, I had said, when we move to heal ourselves, we move to heal you. And it's the same as we move to heal ourselves, we move to heal you, right? Our well-being is connected. We're bound to each other. So when one is not well, we are all not well. Same in the same breath, when we move to heal ourselves, we move to heal the collective. And so I believe that we can do that when we work on ourselves. I believe that we're all sovereign beings with the ability to embody radical self-love. Love is action. Love isn't about politeness. It isn't about political correctness. It's about truth. It's about acting from our heart-centered truth. And the embodiment of radical self-love will look different to everyone. It doesn't look the same just because radical self-love looks like this expression for me. It doesn't mean it's supposed to be that for you. And that's what we get to explore in this container. What is self-love to you? What is rest to you? What does that look like? What does that mean? There's no one right way. And culture will tell us that there is. There's one right way to do things, and it's just not true. We're all unique individual beings that will have different things connect with us. So I believe that we're all able to embody that radical self-love in our own way. I also believe that we're able to take radical responsibility for ourselves, for our reality. And for me, this means that I do not operate in victim mindset as much as possible. I'm human. I do go there. But ultimately, my goal is to be at the cause of my life, not at the effect. Life doesn't happen to me. It happens for me. This life is a curriculum for me becoming the greatest version of myself. And so every piece, every little piece that gets dealt my way, how is it serving me? How does it help me to grow? That's radical responsibility. And this doesn't advocate for spiritual bypassing, not at all. Spiritual bypassing occurs when one engages in a spiritual practice to escape or avoid the reality of misalignment, of imbalance, of abuse of power. And spiritual bypassing believes that we can pray, breathe, or move away oppression, that we can meditate away negative things in our reality and our experience. And it's just not true. We can't do that. We need to be present. We need to be active, and we need to not be detached. We need to be attached and engaged and involved. And this is the embodiment of radical responsibility in my life. And it will look different for everyone. There is no one right way to have radical responsibility embodied. We are all unique beings, and we all will have different expressions. The last assumption that I bring to the table is that what we put in, we stand to gain. What we do not, we stand to lose. And this can be very triggering. So I'd like to dive into it a wee bit. We often hear the adage, you get out what you put in. And the next piece that I've added on is that what we don't put in, we stand to lose. And an example of this is, say you want to go to the gym for 5 days in a row. And you go the first 2 days, and then on day 3 you get tired, like you wake up, you're tired, you're not feeling well, so you don't go. And you say, okay, I'll just go tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and it's even harder to go because you've actually lost momentum. This is an example of what you don't give, you stand to lose, because you've actually lost something. You're not actually at neutral, you're actually a wee bit behind. And this applies when we operate from a space of scarcity, of lack, of fear. When we don't want to go because there's a fear response within us. This is quite different to not going because it's out of alignment for us. So say I don't want to go to the gym on day 3 because my body is actually quite sore and it needs a day of rest. That would be perhaps not going from a sacred no, a space of alignment, a space of understanding and listening to and honoring my body. And in that case, that's actually more empowering, right? Because that's not making an excuse, that's actually honoring and listening to the body, cultivating a relationship and not pushing myself when it wouldn't actually serve me. So there's a really big difference between those two pieces, and it's a very, very fine line that we get to walk, because fear is very insidious. Fear will masquerade as many different things. And so we get to walk that fine line. So that's what I mean by this statement: what we put in, we stand to gain; what we don't, we stand to lose. When we're putting in a sacred no, there's a lot to gain from that. So I just want to be super clear on that one. How are we feeling? Live, catching the replay, let me know your thoughts on these. Let me know if anything's coming up. Oh, so many healing wishes. That's beautiful. Let me know your thoughts on some of these. Like, I'm really, really open, and I'd love to hear. And again, remember that these things that I've just named, you don't have to agree with them. Those are my assumptions, and that I just want you to know that that's what I'm bringing to the table. So please do let me know your thoughts. We also have a few agreements that we hold in this space, and these are things that we all do agree to in order to maintain the sacredness of this container. And so the first one is our mutual responsibility to each other. There's quite a few pieces to this. The first and most obvious one is to respect confidentiality. Who we see here, what is said here, stays here. You're welcome to share about your experience outside of this container as you wish, just ensuring that it's your experience and that you're not sharing about anyone else in the container. That's their sovereign experience to share. And so we agree with each other to hold that sacredness, and that we only share about our experience outside of this space. On that same vein, when we are outside of this space, just acknowledging that sometimes when we share something in a session, it might just be for that session, and that might just be where we want it to remain, to not go any further. So this is like when something is said and then that was just it, I don't want to revisit it anymore. And then if somebody in the container comes and asks me about it, that might actually be a violation. That might just have been meant to be left. So if we want to do that, if we feel as though we have something to share with somebody to maybe enhance their experience, just to ask their permission to reopen a topic that has been closed. And that's part of this mutual responsibility. That's part of our respect of each other. Is sometimes, like, we give each other the opportunity to use our sacred no and to say, you know what, actually, no, thank you. I appreciate you wanting to share, but that's just where I wanted to leave that. And then we say, okay, right? So this is part of this honoring of this sacred space. Also, intent does not equal impact. So this can have a broad range of applications. But for example, just using the example we just said, so one's intent in reopening a topic just to be helpful, your intent is good, your intent is honorable and just so heart-centered. And when we don't ask permission, the impact on the person who maybe didn't want to have that topic reopened can be negative. Even though your intentions were so pure, it can actually have a negative impact. So we just remember that intent does not equal impact, and we acknowledge the impact that we have, and if we do have a negative impact, we acknowledge that. And so this absolutely goes for me leading this space. If there is a negative impact that you experience, please communicate that with me and let me know, because of course that's not my intention. And I would like to know about that so that I can rectify any situations. So this is our mutual responsibility. We just respect each other's humanity in this space. We take care of each other. We honor each other. This is our agreement to each other. I just want to check in. Oh, Elena. Yes, I must care for myself, but how can I? Yes, taking care of everyone else's. Yes, I think that this is so experienced in this container. I think that's why we're all here. And I really appreciate you sharing that so eloquently. This is why we're here. And I appreciate you sharing that. Yes, I'm so grateful that these are landing with you. The next piece for our agreements is that we will be seen and heard, and we will create space to see and hear others. So it can be very triggering to take space. And this is a direct reflection of how triggering it is to take rest. If it happens in one place, it happens everywhere. This is how it works. This is how our patterns and our conditioning express. They express everywhere, just different contexts. So when we are triggered by being seen, by being heard, this is the brave space to work with that trigger. And we agree to engage in this community because the thing is, we learn from each other. I'm not the end-all be-all. Like I said, we all have different experiences, we all have different expressions of rest, and we all have different life experiences that we're bringing to this sacred space. Your experience is valid. Your experience helps other people in this space. So when you take space, when you share your truth, it helps everyone, me included. We want to hear you, we want to see you. It will enhance everyone's experience, including your own, to show up for yourself fully, to be seen, to be heard. And so we agree to do that in this space. And when other people are stepping up, being heard, being seen, we agree to support them. We agree to hold them in that space as we would like to be held. So this is something that we agree to hold each other and to be held. This is practice. It's not easy. It's not easy or everyone would be doing it. It takes practice, and this is a brave space where we get to practice that. On that note, this is a brave space. I've posted a poem by Mickey Scott Bay Jones in our group. It is a beautiful poem about brave space versus safe space. The truth is that I don't know what safe space means to each of you. I have no way of knowing that, and I have absolutely no way of controlling everyone in this space. Safe space is a somewhat dangerous illusion, and I want to name that and to say that this is a brave space. This is a space where we engage and we hold each other and we understand that perfection doesn't exist, and we just create this community together in the best way we can. So I really encourage you to read that poem if you haven't yet. It's really beautiful. The next thing we agree to do is to experience discomfort. Now, when we come to a group that's called Rest and Digest, it sounds super comfortable, it sounds really fluffy, and it sounds really comfortable. I think I just said that. It just sounds great, right? And it is great. Also, we, in this space, seek the fires of transformation. And if we're in this space because we have not yet really integrated how to hold rest sustainably in our experience, then that means that we need some transformation. That means that we need some change. And change only happens in discomfort. So with that being said, we do embrace discomfort in this space because we acknowledge that that's where growth lies. And we welcome in the discomfort because we understand that it's the catalyst for growth. The next piece is that we embrace non-closure. This is really tough for a lot of us. We really want to be able to wrap everything up with a bow, call it a day, it's perfect, it's done, we've done the thing, and now we've got it. You know, and that's just not the way this works. To be quite frank, if I've done my job, you will leave this 5-day experience with more questions than you came with. And that's kind of frustrating. It can be frustrating because it's like we just want to be done. We just want to know it. We just want to have it. And that's just not the way this path works. It's a journey. And the journey is the destination. So we embrace non-closure and we welcome that in because when we leave with more questions than we came with, that means that something has sparked within us. That means that we're excited about something, that we're engaged, that something clicked, that we want to discover more. And that is so cool. That's the inspiration. That's like the catalyst for that growth, that we keep growing. Growth is never done. So we embrace non-closure in this space. And the other piece about non-closure is living with paradox. All of the deepest truths are paradoxes, and it's uncomfortable, and it's confusing, and it's difficult to hold. And so we hold that in this space, and we embrace the discomfort, we embrace the non-closure, we embrace the fact that we won't have all the answers, and we just get to sit with things that don't really make sense and are uncomfortable. That's part of the journey, and we agree to do that in this space. Second to last, we honor our own body's wisdom. This is paramount. You hold the knowledge. You know what is best for you. You know. Not me, not anyone else in this group. You know. And so that's a huge agreement to make in this space, is that we honor our own knowing, our intrinsic knowing of our body. When something feels out of alignment, you may choose not to do it because it's out of alignment. And again, we get to ride that very thin line between misalignment and fear, and we get to know what that feels like. But the only way that we get to know the difference between those two things is to practice and to honor our body and to not push through walls that don't feel right. We get to lean into resistance, we get to lean into discomfort, and we also honor our body and understand when to stop. And so that's a really big piece in this space. And it's a huge piece of rest. Like this is all of these can be applied outside of this container. And especially regarding rest, this is a huge piece because we often don't honor our body's wisdom in our everyday lives, right? We push, we go. We burn out, and we didn't listen to our body when it said, slow down, I need a break, I need some rest. So this is huge. And we get to start practicing honoring our body and cultivating that relationship and continue to practice in this space. Finally, the last agreement that we make is clear communication. So I've mentioned this, kind of hinted at it a few times. Essentially, I want to know how you're doing. If something is not good or not right, please tell me. I want to hear you. I want to serve you. That's what I'm here to do. I am literally here to serve you in this space. And I would just really, really appreciate the opportunity to do so as effectively as I can. And the only way that I can do that is if you share with me how you're feeling, how you're doing, if you complete the tasks, and if you get the most out of this that you can, because I'm here. I am here to be of service to you. So please communicate with me and let me know what you need. Let me know what's missing so that I can help. How is this feeling? How are we doing for time? Holy moly. Okay. How is it feeling, everyone? Please comment. If you're on the replay, please do share. I really do want to see you. And if you're live, please let me know. We are definitely, I'd say we've got 10 minutes left. Thank you for sticking with me. All of those who have stuck with me for so long. You are all amazing. And everyone who's catching the replay, you are amazing. So let's talk about this program. This is a 5-day experience that's going to give you a ton of value. I picked the topic of rest because, as a general statement, we are, as a society, really strung out. Like we're just pushed to the limits. We push ourselves to the limits. We are doing so much more. We're consuming so much more than we ever have as human beings, ever. It's just unprecedented, and we don't know how to rest anymore. It's been conditioned out of us. And this is very detrimental to our healing journey. We need rest. We need to rejuvenate, we need to recuperate, and this is why I picked this topic. Oh, Elena, thank you for sharing that. Your safe sanctuary, that's beautiful. I love sanctuary. So I created this container to be of service. So please help me to be of service to you. I also created this container to bring together a group of like-hearted, amazing, fabulous people who are seeking transformation. And the power of proximity is so key in my journey. It's so key to be in proximity to the like-hearted, the growth mindset, the people who will see me in my highest healed state, the people who will pull me forward and up into my greatness. These are the people who I want to be around. And this is like why I created this container, to continue to create these communities of people that pull each other up and support each other and hold each other, and we get to grow together because we're walking each other home. That beautiful quote by Ram Dass. We're only walking each other home. That's all we're doing here, and we get to do that together. And so that's another reason why I created this space. The power of proximity cannot be understated on my journey. It has been everything to me, and I want to create that for everyone who I get to walk with. So this container is also an opportunity for you to see how I do my thing, how I share my dharma, essentially. And I've got this incredible program coming up in a few weeks. It's called Seek Sanctuary. It's the last round of Seek Sanctuary this year. It is incredible timing because it leads right into the winter solstice, right into the new year. It is an amazing time to turn within and to do that work. And so this is an opportunity for you to work with me and see how that feels. We get to feel out a fit, because if you're seeking transformation, this is an amazing opportunity to do so. So it's an opportunity for you to just see how I work and what I do. All of the sessions are going to be via Zoom, so that we can have more of a two-way conversation. Like I appreciate Facebook Lives, and also the way I work with clients is not this way. I like to be live and to see people and to hear people and to have a conversation. Like I say, we're walking each other home. It's not all me talking. There's benefit from like back and forth and conversation. So all of our sessions will be via Zoom. I'm going to share a link to register so that you get the Zoom link and you get reminders in your email. I'm gonna share that tonight. So make sure that you register, and then we'll have more personal sessions going forwards. Now, about the prize. The prize is a spot in Seek Sanctuary. The prize is a spot in this program I've just told you about. It's an 8-week program, a deep dive into finding, seeking our sanctuary within. It is a transformative experience. I'm just beyond grateful that I get to share it. And so to be eligible, there's a few things to be eligible to be in the running to win a free spot. So the first is to invite 3 people and have them accept the invitation to be a part of this experience. We get to grow this community and to rise together. That's the number 1. Number 2, share this group on Facebook or on Instagram. Tag me so I see that you've shared it, and spread the love, spread the knowledge about this opportunity. It's free. There's just like no reason not to. For anybody who's interested in being a part of it, why not? So that's number 2. And then the third one is just to participate in all tasks and to support others as they do the same. We're all here doing the same work. So let's engage, let's give each other permission to show up fully and authentically, and let's support each other. Showing up and then supporting and being supported. And that's the third piece. And if one does all of these 3 things, they will be in the running for a free spot. It is an incredible value. So make sure that you're inviting people and sharing this group. And task 1, I will share with you now, and that is the first task that we get to embark upon as a group. The first task is to introduce yourself via Facebook Live. This can be triggering, and I encourage you to do via Facebook Live because this is a brave space, and we don't always get these spaces, and so that's why I'm specifically setting that as the platform by which to introduce yourself. So I encourage you to introduce yourself by Facebook Live. You may want to talk about your social location, those bits and pieces that I shared about myself. You do not have to. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Who are you? Where are you? What has brought you to this container? What does rest mean to you? To you individually, what does rest mean to you? And what activities do you associate with rest? I will put this in a post, so don't panic if you haven't written it all down. I will put this in a proper post. What do you want to be walking away from this container with? These are pieces that I would love to hear from you. You will inspire others as you share about yourself and what you're bringing to this container, and that is task 1. So how are we feeling? For those on the replay, for those who are here live, Michelle, rest is so very important. It is, and we are here to do that work, to integrate that. Elena, this is a place to be remained, that I matter, I am seen, heard, and felt. Thank you. Oh, Elena, I'm so grateful to have your energy in this container, and that you name that. That's wonderful. Because that's exactly what this is. It is a space to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. We witness you and we hold each other, right? So let me know your thoughts on this. I'm going to cut it off because I really don't want it to be more than an hour. I really want people to take this in. So please comment below if you have any questions about this. I will post the details for being in the running for the prize. I will post the details for task 1. And I am so excited to see your intro lives. If you are feeling inspired and you just want to do it, if you're on the wave of inspiration in this moment, please jump on in, share in the group, just get started. This is how it starts. So I really, really, really look forward to meeting all of you, to seeing you, to hearing you, and I am sending you all so much love. Thank you for opening sacred space with me. Thank you for giving me time and space to introduce myself, to share more about me, and I am sending you so much love. I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for saying yes to yourself. Be well. I wish you a wonderful evening. So much love to you. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Michelle. I see you. For everyone who is here live, for everyone who's catching the replay, thank you. Good night. I'll see you soon. Bye.